We built, we failed, we sold, we scaled, and we are just here to tell you the stories. And over the next couple of episodes, we're going to be sharing our journey, answering questions. So yeah, if you're watching and you have questions to ask, we'll be very glad. Hi guys, you're welcome to the very first episode of the Code and Chaos podcast. My name is Tito Ipimoye, and you are?
Tolu Adidayo.
Hi T. I mean, we've had this coming for a very long time.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, we kind of spoke about having a podcast and it happened.
It's now 2023. Was first time, first time talk about having a podcast.
I think I was living very far away, so we don't have work, so...
You're still living far away though.
I'm happy you're my podcast co-host.
Thank you for the compliment.
I told you to match my energy, guy. Match my energy. Okay. Hi, T.
Hi.
So welcome, guys, to the Code and Chaos podcast. What's Code and Chaos podcast, by the way?
Yeah, Code and Chaos is basically just talks, conversations around code and chaos that happen around the business of it.
I think it's just conversations around tech, starting tech business.
Yeah.
Before this show, I used to say that both of us were 2-time tech founders, but I am finding out that he's my Egmo. He's a 3-time tech founder.
Okay.
Yeah, 3-time. I'm not hearing for the first time, but I'm realizing that it's actually a thing.
Yeah, I've done like 2016. That started in 2016, but then it was a failure.
Yeah, he failed.
He failed woefully, but not like woefully. I think it was just maybe it came too early.
Oh, okay. His solution
came too early. Yeah, the solution came too early because that idea currently is currently working as
some other
business. Yeah,
some other business. We won't mention.
No, I won't mention.
Yeah, I am a 2-time founder. And my first product failed. I didn't fail. The first product failed.
Okay. Did I am I aware of that? Did I know that?
Guy, we built that product. Literally. I would wake up by I would awake by 2 a.m. Guess what? Coding and talking to this man.
Utano Africa.
No, then he became first TNN Africa, then Utano Africa, and then it became Cito Health. Yeah, and we it was my building companion. I would be on the phone for hours.
Stressing my life.
No, I mean, Tolu
I was a consultant. You were not paying me.
That's not the point. You're my friend. What are friends for?
Yeah.
And I mean, we built, like I said, we failed, we sold, we scaled, and we are just here to tell you the stories. And over the next couple of episodes, we're going to be sharing our journey, answering questions. So yeah, if you're watching and you have questions to ask, we'll be very glad. Yeah. His second startup, Bella Finance, which I am very proud of. Very proud.
Yeah. We actually work on it together.
Yes, I am proud because I did most of the videos. Yeah, Bella has done it again.
Our unofficial ambassador.
Yes. And so when I heard that you guys were selling, I think you told me before it became mainstream.
Of course.
So Tolu said, we are selling. I was so excited. I'm like, do you know my friends? They're selling. And so I think my first startup failed. His failed too, but your second startup
I succeeded.
Sold. Yeah, I'm currently building my second startup, and that's where the concept of code and chaos comes from. Yeah, so code and all of the chaos that comes with it. And when people saw the poster for this, they asked, who is code and who is chaos? I promise you I'm not chaos.
I'm the code. Who is the chaos?
That's not the point.
No, you actually...
My father said, Tito, you're not chaos in Jesus' name. And I was wondering, why did he imagine that I'm code? Why is it that his mind went so chaos?
Yeah, because he actually knew you, he knows you very, very well. So he's just playing.
That's
chaos. No, but actually chaos, but so I think that the essence in the long term is that new people coming into tech, or people who are currently running businesses, can tap into our conversations, learn, because basically we know how to fail and how not to fail.
Fail well, fail forward.
Exactly.
And move on quickly.
We have experienced failure, and we've also experienced success. So in a way, we kind of know how to, how not to.
Yeah, and so the first question for me really is, when did you know that, what was your aha moment that I'm going to build, I'm trying to change the world? Okay, I know you say, well, for me, that's my first question. When did you know that I'm about to build a product? And, did you think a product was changing the world?
Yeah, so I think that was a backstory. It was 2013 when Sukeba came to Nigeria.
Okay.
So it was then in CCO that I knew that I was going to.
2013, where was I? Okay.
That was that's when I was doing my COS. So it was at that point that I knew that I was going to actually do something. That was the time, that something came to me that, okay, these things that you're actually doing in school, this little code and programming here and
there. You were writing code in school?
Yes. That way you can actually, become something using this. Because we only knew that, we could build WordPress website or just build one small website and sell for 10,000 naira. But, it was that moment that I realized, okay, I'm going to actually, but I don't know when, because I was a broke boy.
I think that for me, it was when Paystack sold.
2020.
So I for some weird reasons, I was running my private practice as a dietitian from a tech hub. Okay. How that happened, I think it was God. And I'm in the hub one day doing form and say, if you have diabetes, next thing they announced that Paystack has sold for $200 million. I said,
dollars.
I said, Then boss were like, hey, now, I say 200 million.
Yeah.
And then, as a dietitian, I worked in Lagos University Teaching Hospital. My salary was 89,000. And I heard that
you're a rich girl.
89,000.
That year now.
I heard that suppose I earning 5K USD.
Okay.
In tech. I know. There's only one way I know. Money.
So I think that so also I think that the money factor played a role that year in 2013 because that year Mark invested $24 million into Andela.
Okay.
That year. So you earn those amount of money and then you're like, okay. I know how to do this thing.
And sometimes I feel bad that I found tech late.
Okay.
I found tech in 2020.
No, not like you found tech in 2020. You just found the business of tech in 2020.
No, trust me. I found this thing you're saying. I'm hearing it for the first time. I didn't know that anybody invested. Trust me, if I knew that somebody invested money in Andela in 2013, then I would have.
Yeah. So that was the projection of when the projection of Andela started, and Inyedua was with Andela at that time. It was after 2 years he resigned to start Flutter with. Yeah, but that was like the moment when I like, okay, I'm going to do this thing because I think I can actually do it.
Yeah.
So, but then beyond that, tech business is beyond I can do it.
Yeah,
you need to actually know what you're doing.
But the problem is that even now I see a lot of young, because I'm a dietitian and I worked with startups in the nutrition space, and I see young dietitians all struggling to build tech, and I'm like, yo. I mean, I started building my product in 2020, October 2020. I remember that somebody, reached out to me and said, let's build something. And by 2024, I started not doing it again. And that was the end of it. And I still feel like we glamorize tech. Everybody's talking about the big things that is changing. People don't talk about their failures enough.
Okay, yeah.
People don't. See how you just whispered, my product failed, and I'm hearing for the first time. The only thing I know about you is that you sold.
Yeah, but so the thing is, sometimes we also think that people don't understand success. If they have not experienced failure, you really don't know how to, make things happen when you've actually not failed.
Yeah.
For instance, in 2016, I took a loan, right, from Bank of Industry, and it's very, very funny that I used my NYC certificate as a collateral.
Did you pay back?
I paid back. Okay, but but the point is, this little money I took, the first thing we did was to go rent an apartment for office. Office is really.
Were you living there?
Yes, nah.
Okay.
So an office, then a flat. So the staff can sleep.
That was your first business.
So it was failure was written on it right from the beginning. Because you're not supposed to get a loan of 3 million and then you are taking an apartment of 500,000.
3 million is what you
Yes. Yeah. So I think that if you haven't failed, it's possible that you don't also understand how to succeed.
I agree. I think the mistake I made was I was so focused on the product, and even when every other person was telling me, "Ej Tolu," he said launch. He said go to market.
You know why? Why I'm always on launch is that for startups, it's three things. So there are some platforms, there are some businesses that you want to do.
Yeah.
Tech is just an enabler.
True.
The tech is not your business.
It's not the tool. It's not the business. It's
exactly.
The tool,
so that's one. And for some businesses, right, you don't really need, you don't even need an app. What you need is a web app.
True.
You can have an app later, but with a web app, you will still do what you need to do.
Yeah.
Right? And for some businesses, all you need is Excel spreadsheets. Collect data, give them the solution, give them your service.
One of the things that I realized is when instead of the thing I built a whole app that I spent 6 months, when I was going to start building the app, I told you I spent 6 months building an app, and I realized that it's something that Airtable would have just done.
Yeah, simple. Yeah, so that mistake, that thing you did, a number of people are still doing it till now. Yeah. Up to yesterday, someone sent me a deck, a lending platform. Reading that deck, I was just like, hey, how do you want to beat fair money? Do you understand? That thing you're trying to do with an app now, that solution, you can do it with a group, cooperative, and be giving them whatever you want. Don't even build any app, at least for now. But you want to spend all of those money. You say you're looking for. He said I think it's looking for like $250,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm looking for money for my next startup. But you see the problem. One of the things I worked with a founder recently, and I had to leave because one of the things I realized is I cannot be the one to tell her that what she's building is nonsense. I can't, because I have been there, and I remember that I kept making excuses for her to say she's a first-time founder. First-time founder is not the year word. Because you remember how many times you said to me, Tito, just launch. I know the app had to be perfect.
Yeah, just launch.
And I had like 25 features.
Do you know one funny thing about my first Insta Kitchen is that up till we failed, the product never launched. The product never came out. So we were taking orders from Facebook, right? Taking orders from Facebook and Instagram, but we keep telling people app is coming soon. App is coming soon, and we still fail. Yeah. Do you get? So sometimes, as a first timer, you will be very adamant to say, okay, I want to get this done before I launch. But then,
I learned to just leave people alone because I've been there. I'm such a stubborn person.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's why you're chaos.
We launched at least better. We launched in November. November 3rd, I remember.
So when we were starting Vela Finance, we started working on it in August.
So Vela is the second startup.
Yeah, Vela was second. When we started talking about it in August, and November, we're already out.
August,
September, October. November 1st.
I think that's the different thing. I started building 2020. We finally released products November 2023.
Exactly. So the difference is that we did not launch ready. Do you get? We did not say, everything must be ready before we launch.
You just went.
My own is we must launch. So another mistake that people do is that when you're thinking of product, the next thing you're doing is you're looking for web app developer, you're looking for mobile application. For me, when we're starting Vela, what I did was look for a marketer. So in August, when that idea came, what we did was go to Computer Village.
This boy.
To get marketers. This is what we want to do. Okay. We want to help people send money to China. So before November, we already have like 200 people on the spreadsheet. So we're already helping them to send the money.
You're already helping them
to send the money, even before the app.
So how did they trust you without having a product?
No, so the thing is, the people with problems, people with problems don't care how you solve the problem.
They just want you to
Can you do it?
Yes. Okay. So I think another problem is a lot of times we are building solutions to problems that do not exist.
Yeah, that's another one. And sometimes you're building solutions for people that don't really care about the solutions you're building.
Yes.
I spoke to someone.
Yes, that's true.
I spoke to someone, a client, that eventually used Vela to a point. It's one of our top users. He told me, Tolu, if you want to use your hair to carry the money to Brazil,
I don't care.
Just get your money. But can you send the money to Brazil? I said yes. So sometimes, if we have built a system and we are explaining, oh, this system is working on crypto rails, it's using this, we are using API, they don't care.
Okay, now I see the mistake.
They don't care.
I built a product for people who just wanted to get diabetes. They just wanted to be well.
Yes.
I was telling them, download app, do this.
Exactly. So you're not supposed to be building apps for them.
Fun facts, guys. I will use Vela app. And one day Tolu told me, because we're always fighting, Tolu said, please, Tito, stop using the app.
Yeah,
because we're always fighting. And I think I just didn't understand the concept of what.
Yes. So for you, you think that there's a magic we are doing on the app that is sending money to wherever you want to send money to, or that I want to give you money. No, there's no magic. Everything is plug and play.
My friend told me one day, Tito, please. Say our friendship matters. Stop using it. And I was hurt.
Yeah, I think
I'm not a primary customer. The boy told me stop using the app. Let's preserve our friendship.
Yeah, because the complaints were a lot.
I mean,
right?
Every other day.
Yes. So, but then when you look at the way fintech works, all of us, we either use this person's service, use this person's service, and I explain to people, money doesn't move. Money doesn't move the way you think.
What's our own is percent?
Exactly. So money doesn't move the way we think it moves. So if we don't have money in the pool, you will have issues.
Yeah.
And you know that we are using our own money to run it. So those are the issues.
So I mean, that takes me to the next question. How did you know that you were ready to build a startup? Was it that you had enough money in the bank, or did you have the right team, or did you have the right co-founders? Because my first startup, one of the reasons why we failed, apart from the fact that I was just fed up, and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna spend my daddy's money. The man doesn't seem to mind.
Well, some people mind.
But the thing is, for me, I had co-founder issues.
Okay.
We weren't just the right fit.
Yeah.
And so, how do you know that this product is good to go? Is it that you have the right co-founders? I know that when you are pitching, there's usually a problem when you're a solo founder. Most investors don't want to hear that you're a solo founder. They want to ensure you have a CEO, COO, CTO, all of that. But is it that when you had more money in the bank, then you knew, we're ready, we're good to go?
No, it's not money. We didn't even have money at the time. We didn't have money. But the right, like you said, right team, right co-founders. Mark was my guy. Mark has been, we've known each other for more than 20 years.
How old are you? Okay.
Yeah, so Mark was my old school mate in high school. It was it was more like it was my junior, not like my school son. So a very brilliant boy. Then, and we didn't lose touch.
Yeah.
So and I can see, the things that he has been doing all along, even when we were in school.
Okay.
And he can also see what I'm also doing. So we didn't have money. Not like we had money. There was no money. But the point is, I can do this. You can undo this. Then we have two other friends. Gabriel can also do this. Then Shegun can be this person.
Wait, are you sure you didn't have money? Because you told me that you people
did what?
That 15 million gist, where did it come from?
And no, now we are. It's not 15 million, 12 million.
12 million is not money.
It's not money.
12 million.
It's not money.
12 million. No.
To start with a fintech company, it's not money, really.
So there was a 12 million.
There was a 12 million, but it's not money, really. It's not money.
Where did this 12 million come from?
Don't worry, it's not money.
These are the issues.
No, but it's not money.
These are the issues.
No. If you see the people that that start fintech companies, the kind of funds that they have, either from family and friends or from their own personal capital. Some people have worked in good places where they have been able to stack up funds to start. But for us, we didn't start because we had 12 million. We started because we felt like we are a good team. Do you get? We have a product designer, a full stack engineer, a business developer, and a marketer.
But there was 12 million.
12 million is too small.
All right, boo. All right, baby. Okay. But what was the one thing you wish? What were the things you wish you knew as a startup founder before you launched your startup? Whether it's Vela, or it's Insta Kitchen.
Well, I think it's a lot. So I think that as I also grow older, you tend to learn different things also, because before starting Insta Kitchen, there were so many things I didn't know. I knew them before Vela. So even Vela now, there are certain things that I did for Vela that I will not try for my new project, because there are different things. But for one is that thinking that your product will sell itself.
This is what it does.
I expect people to jump on it like, this product is solving this problem and it will sell. No, it's not going to sell itself. Really, times have changed. There was a time when you build a product or when you do something new and the other thing just propagate itself. Now internet has changed a lot of things. So even when you have built something good, even as a human being, if you are good at something and you're not talking about it,
you have to sell yourself, guys.
Nobody cares about you. There's always an alternative. Before you know it, artificial intelligence will do something. So thinking that the product will sell itself, it's an illusion. Really, it's not real anymore. It's not real. So it's one thing. When we built Vela, we felt like
changing the world.
Places that you cannot, what your banks cannot do for you, Vela will do it. Vela is more than your bank. We're using all those copies. But man,
more than your bank. People will not. Why is it that
So it's one thing that I learned, and that's why whatever product I'm launching next or something, there has to be that initial fund to push it.
I think that what I would have done differently, or what I wish I knew, like I said it before, that I don't need the entire app. We could have just started with very basic tools. And funny thing, my cousin used to tell me, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just look for tools that are already. But because I was a first-time founder and I was sucked into the app, I think this guy, this old school founder, posted something recently and said, until you have certain number of users, don't build a mobile app. And it didn't make sense to a lot of people, but for those of us who have built apps, I mean, I built my app.
I get the sentiment of the people that don't agree with that, because sometimes the product that you're building, it depends on the product you're building.
That's 1 over 10, guy.
No, but because if you're building a fintech company, right, at least, for trust level.
No, you can use the web app, www.what. You can't.
Okay, what if you're building a Uber? A ride-hailing company.
How many people are building Ubers, guys?
A lot of people. A lot of them. Do you ride-hailing companies are everywhere now? A lot of people are building them. A product that is based on map.
And that's 1 over.
No, I'm just saying. You could also be building a social networking platform. You could be building a dating platform.
When Facebook came, it was a web app.
But now,
okay, I get your points. There's now that we are competing.
Exactly. So there's a new now. So I agree that not all businesses require the mobile application. That's why I said initially that some businesses all you need is just an Excel sheet. Right. If you're maybe you're doing crypto or you're doing all this OTC trade, you don't really need an app, because even sending money via all those bank accounts can put you in trouble. So for some businesses like that, you don't need app. For your own, space, you really don't need app. You don't really need app. What you need is to be able to communicate that you can solve this problem.
If you had told me this thing 2020,
I told you.
What do you mean by I don't need an app?
Exactly.
You know what makes mine pathetic? You know that because when we started in 2020, I had paid 2 different set of developers.
I remember.
One day I called Tolu. I said I'm gonna build this thing myself.
No code.
No,
correct.
I'm good at what I do. I said, see, I'm gonna build it. Tolu spent like 1 hour to talk me out of it. I said, never. I'm gonna do it, and I did it.
Yeah.
6 months, I did not leave my house.
You did it all. And funny enough, you have people sharing you, hey, go baby, go baby, go.
But Bele was telling me, I would send it to him again. He would say,
check this thing. Every time, check this thing. Sign up again. Delete it again. Sign up.
Thank you for being my friend. I can imagine by 20 minutes I have called him and said, see, so this day you say you don't need
it's working now. People can sign up now.
I remember we were going to, you told me, I had like 25 features. So then I asked, what are the most important? I think that's another lesson I had to learn, to say, what are the most important features to go to market with? I wanted to go to market with every feature.
Yeah.
And I think another thing for me was, I spoke to my patients. Yeah, I'm a dietitian again. I think I should put that on there. Okay. I spoke to my patients and they told me, oh, this is what we need. But when we finished building it, they didn't use it. So I think that another problem that most founders have is that people will tell them, users will say, build. And then you will build it. You know, and so instead of doing proper research to say, I think another thing was, I was also competing with products from the US, forgetting that the African market
is different.
It's very different. It's very different. And so I spent 6 months, guys. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I was building. I was trying to change the world.
She's a superwoman.
Then we launched. We did a launch party, remember?
Yeah.
And people came and Nathaniel, my video guy, took amazing pictures. You know, to tell this thing, and one day in January, I said, nope, I ain't doing this no more. I think that there's also the fact that I had co-founders conflict. Yeah. And one of the things that I had to learn was co-founding is like a marriage. It's marriage. You know, you can't just pick. And I just thought that, you know, I'm so focused on the all women team dream.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea, but it has to be based on skills.
Yes.
You know, is this person fit?
Yeah, I just went to find my friends and said, let's change the world together. And he ruined our friendship. He didn't only ruin the business, he ruined the friendship. And one of the things I wish I knew was co-founding is a marriage, and you guys have to be compatible as partners, not just as friends. Yeah.
It's one of the things that work for me. Like I mentioned, Mark, we've been together when we were younger.
And you guys have seen what you do for each other.
Yeah, so we know what you can do. I know your capacity. I didn't just come to you and say, oh, because you know how to do this thing. No. Even investors. Investors care about your co-founders, about the relationship. They want to know if you've known each other for a long time. They want to know if you guys have actually maybe done something together before. You've actually done one or two. So it's also very important.
So one of the problems I had was raising. I had problems raising funding. And because I'm not a very friendly person.
No, it's not because you're not friendly.
What's the problem?
It's the product.
No, it's not. It wasn't so much about the product. And I'll tell you why. Because people see me chatty on social media. They see me chatty on my videos and all. But in real life, I'm not very... And so my point is, I was usually very irritated. And so you're talking to a potential investor and they're asking you some rubbish questions. And I'm like, nah. But my question is, would you recommend that founders raise before pushing out their products, or should they, go ahead, bootstrap before trying to raise? Or should they even raise at all? Because I've heard people say, oh, because of the amount of money we raised, that's why we had the product collapse.
So I think that for funding, different strokes
for different folk.
For some reasons, there are some founders today, if they want to start any product, even before they start it, investors have put money.
Yeah.
Because they already trust them.
Because they've been founders before.
Yes. Okay. So that's one. And then for me, should we raise or not raise? If you have the chance to raise, if people trust you enough to raise. Raising is not a problem. Raising is not the problem. The problem is the people. Do you get? You managing the business. You are the problem. Or your product.
Okay.
Do you understand? Is the problem. The money can never be the problem. Okay. The money is there to catalyze your growth, to help you push your growth even further than you think. So, but the thing is, a lot of people, we fraternize, or maybe we are obsessed with one idea, and you are one of them. You want to have everything in one app. So that thing is also common.
Why you should do shots fired? Yes, I know. You have to make reference to me.
So investors kind of look at you and say, what exactly is the problem you're solving? So
I was trying to change the world. I was building a product that will help people manage their diabetes better.
Yeah. So in your product, one thing has to stand out. Whatever works as a first-time founder, the idea is at least you have a capital. You have a little capital, a little working capital.
Your own money.
Your own money. Or if you don't have that, you can actually raise money from your friends and family.
But the problem is friends and family don't believe in you.
No. That's where we're missing it.
Yeah.
The first set of people that even trust you are your F and F.
Sorry, my family members, if people watch this thing, but I feel like my family members are more interested in when I'll bring husband.
I used to bring husband.
That's not
but the point is.
No, and now that we're talking about it, I used to be very offended because in my mind, there's this young girl trying to change the world. I repeat, I'm trying to change the world. I don't know what Tolu thinks, but I'm trying to change the world.
Continue.
I'm saying to my friends and family, this is the product that I'm trying to build.
Okay.
And it's set to change. Like my first product, Tito Health, what we're trying to do was help people manage diabetes better. You know, help them track their figure. Like, just help them change, how they view and manage diabetes. And somebody's asking me, when will you bring us back? Is that the problem?
It's not the problem.
Why are we more focused? If I say I want to do wedding now, they'll say I know a party. We have money to go to party, but I want to sell I should be one.
So the thing is, and in that vein, right? You are the one that would work, right, to make them trust you.
Say that. So in that kind of that's and I will get irritated. So family and friends are not the my first check at that point.
For you.
So we should not generalize this.
No, for you are an exception. Everybody raise money from their friends and family.
Okay, maybe my friends will give me money.
So you make yourself someone that is that they can trust.
Yeah.
You're credible enough, and they believe in your vision. Maybe because of something you've done.
Yeah.
Maybe in school or what you've done in the in the church or somewhere around. They could trust you. So you are going to build that name by yourself. You build yourself to that point so that they can trust you with their money. It's also their money as well. You can't tell them how to
spend their money.
Or maybe they give you or they don't give you.
Yeah.
But generally, speaking about first-time founders, if you have a chance to raise.
Okay.
Right? These are the things that they didn't tell me that year. If you have a chance to raise, just don't take loans.
Oh, don't take loans.
Don't take loans.
Oh, why?
Don't take loans. You'll be in trouble. You'll be in trouble. Don't take loans. To start a startup, don't take loans. If it's an SME, you can take loans.
What's the difference between an SME and a startup?
So an SME is, business model that has been tested. For instance, you want to start a barbing salon, you want to start a hair business, you want to start a hotel business. These businesses are established. The models are established. But for startup, you can fail. The model has not been tested. So you need people who want to take a risk with their $10,000, with their $2K, with their $20K.
But if I'm building something that's already in the market.
What's already in the market?
If I want to start a fintech, for example, a lending business, there's already lending businesses that I can.
Yeah, so the thing is, the belief is that, a lending business already in the market. There's Credit Direct, there's Carbon, there's Fair Money. So how are you different?
Just want to ask.
No. So
be trying to change the world.
Yeah, so you have to be different. So that difference in your model makes you a startup. But if you're coming to do the same thing that Carbon is doing, you're coming to do what Fair Money is doing, it means that you are an SME. It is your model that has not been used, that has not been tested, that makes you a startup.
Okay.
So as a newbie, a new founder, if you have raised. If you have money, use your money. But once you start, you see what the kind of payment you'll be making on a monthly basis, your burn rate, you look at it and then you can say, okay, I have a runway for 6 months. Then after 6 months, you can start looking for funds.
But we've had of startups. I give you an example: Mailchimp, Calendly, that bootstrapped. Yes. And when they were able to raise at a very high valuation.
Yeah, because they have the valuation.
And so shouldn't I just bootstrap them?
So that's the thing. You don't know the story of the founders of those companies.
I see your point.
We are both from Ijelu.
Trust fund babe.
So you don't know their stories. Yeah. Some of them, resigned or retired from Amazon, from Google, so earning a lot of money, so they are able to bootstrap. Some of us don't have money. I told you I used my NYC certificate to do collateral for loan in 2016. So, all of those, we can't compare ourselves. And also sometimes the market you're building for.
Yeah.
If you're building in the Nigerian market and you want to try what MailChimp
you're gonna say shaggy.
So it's clearly different. Very, very different. So bootstrapping is good. A lot of founders right now will tell you, we are still bootstrapping, we are bootstrapping good. Well done. But they will say shaggy. That's the truth. The people that actually succeed, they have funds. You need funds. There's no way you want to say it. And once you can, push that initial marketing, you can get stuff out, and your product is good, people will give you money.
Yeah, I think that's what got me frustrated pretty quickly. I was just tired. I mean, I was just tired of pushing a business without funding. I mean, my daddy was doing his part, but he's my daddy.
Some people will say something again. Oh, you see people today say, oh, we have 10,000 users, we have 20,000 users, we have not spent 1 naira on marketing, we have not. It's a lie.
So is it a lie they don't have the users, or is it a lie they don't spend the money?
They can have the users. But what I'm saying is, it's not zero marketing fund.
Yeah.
It's not possible.
I mean, you have to talk about the product somewhere.
People have to talk about it.
Yeah.
You have people working. So marketing is not just when you start running ads. Marketing starts from when you as the CEO, you're selling that vision to a partner. You're selling it to a staff, to a co-founder, to a member of the team. That member of the team is putting it on their WhatsApp status.
Yeah, that's marketing.
That's marketing. And you're paying these people.
Yeah.
You're not paying for marketing, but you're paying them salaries. Even if it's
they want to collect salary next month.
And they want to collect next month. They talk about it.
True.
So all of those things. So really, you can't just say you have no marketing spend, zero marketing spend. It's all. You can't see the big companies. You can't see the Paystack, the Flutter to say such.
They dare not.
The people that are always saying we have not spent money on marketing, they always hang on in one place. They don't go.
So yes, it's true. You need money. Marketing requires money, and you need them. So, but my last question for this episode is: how do you validate an idea without spending money? How do I test? And so I'll give an example. So, for example, I'm about to launch a new startup called Buttercup. Let me just put that there. Buttercup. But one of the initial thing now I've learned, right? Okay. I've learned from my failed Tito help. And we're doing a lot of market validation, but the question is, how do I now, how do I test my idea and ensure that it's worth chasing without spending so much money?
Yes. So like I said, the first thing you should do is, or anyone, not even just you now, should do, is get a salesperson.
How can the salesperson money now? I said without spending.
Yeah, you don't have to pay. You don't have to pay them. You don't have to pay them.
Okay.
That's why as a CEO or as a founder, you should be able to sell. Do you get? See, if I can sell something to you and you will join my company.
True.
For free.
I always want to join. The new startup is building.
Okay.
I'm begging him.
And we'll pick you up now at a point.
I want you to tell the viewers like I've witnessed him sell.
Okay.
And I want to be in the winning team. Please let me beg.
Yeah, when we get to that point, that's another part of the story. For startups, when you're a startup, you act like a startup. When you're in this level of Flutter Wave, when you're in that Series A level, you act Series A.
Is that when I will join you guys?
No. You join us when we're in our seed level or pre-seed.
I will join.
Yeah, sure. You have value to offer, so definitely. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that I think I lost my thought there.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
Sorry. So we're talking about whether we should how to idea without spending money.
Yes. So I'm saying that you should be able to sell. You should be able to call a marketer right now and sell to that person. Sell that idea to that person, that person will see that idea as something massive enough and want to work with you. Okay. That's one of the skills that you need to have as a founder or a CEO, basically. That's why I call myself a sales boy. You need to be able to tell, something that does not exist, I can sell it to you.
True.
You get, and you will buy it.
Yeah.
So you should be able to do that. So when you do that to that person, will now go into the market and get people
But then,
so
would you need to pay the person at some point?
Who?
The salesperson, wouldn't you pay?
You can pay with different things. Like
what?
See, whatever.
That's the problem.
No, so that's the thing. It is you that you're looking for money, right? You need money, definitely. But I'm saying that to validate your idea, you can sample opinions.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you get beyond the people in the market? You know, when we're talking about market, this your product is not something they are taking to do matter market.
Nope.
It's people, it's normal people, you know, women, right? Yeah. So it's not so when I say market, I didn't mean they should go to one market. So it is reaching out to people, you know, aggregating the community together. And sometimes most of these sales guys and all these people, they have different communities they can easily tap into. You know, partnership. You promise people things. When we were starting Villa, let me tell you. When we start people things. Yes, you promise them. When we were starting Villa, the first set of influencers that we used to promote Villa, we didn't pay them. I promised them tokens, Villa tokens, and we didn't even launch the tokens to today. No, it's not fraud.
Can I say no? I'm going somewhere.
Okay.
You know how he said the first set of marketers, he promised them. Tell me, what did you promise me? Because I was your influencer. Oh, there's someone for me, guy.
What did I promise you?
Yes. The problem is that's the part. I just remember it gave me PTSD that I was an influencer for this guy. The only thing he promised me was hope. When they sold it, I did not see cash, guy.
But you are seeing me now. We are still here, bro.
You see how men promise women things.
No, this is not how men promise women things. This is not how men promise women things.
We'll meet me after the podcast.
But we are still here, right? We are still here.
My point is, you were able to sell this vision to me, and I bought it as an influencer.
Yeah, so that's how you should be able to also sell to people. You need to take out. Oh, I'm not a nice person. You need to be able to actually tell people. You know. Yeah. So what I'm currently working on right now, the project I'm working on right now, everybody working on that product right now.
Yeah.
It's not a penny. You know, I understand that maybe.
I see why you've not brought me in.
No, I understand that maybe people can say, okay, you have a leverage. Yeah. People saying that you have succeeded with one, maybe they want to be. That is a leverage. But I'm using it well. I didn't just say, okay, I'm doing this, come and join. No, I sat them down at different occasions. There is a lady I had to take on a date to explain what I'm doing.
But wait, how come all I got was a document? I don't understand why.
Because you're not part of you're not going to be part of this.
No, but my point is, you took somebody out on a date
to explain. Yeah, because
when you explained to me, all you sent was a document.
Because you're a founder, you will understand. That person is not a founder. That person is just an engineer, and I need her to buy into my vision. So I need to sit down with her and come into her brain. And I did that. And at the end of that meeting, she was begging me that, is your team complete? She didn't know I took her on that date because of that. She was the one begging, is your team complete? You understand?
Founders are dubious people, except
whatever you say. Whatever you say.
Okay, so before we round up, so what are your? I mean, this episode of the podcast was just supposed to be for an introduction. You know,
we've done a bit of introduction.
So what are your last words to, you know, a new time, a newbie, somebody thinking of setting up a startup, or somebody that is just new in the journey? Let me tell you, because when I started, one of the things that I did was go to Peace Itimi's Founders Connect, and I binged on a lot of, you know, content, you know, and I wasn't prepared, to be honest. I don't think you can ever be fully prepared to be founder. But what are your last words to somebody about to go on this journey?
I have a lot of last words for them. But then one of the most important one is, you know, if you're being paid where you are currently, stay there. Stay there. You know, stay there. You know, stay there. You know, and stay there.
Yeah.
But then if you think that, oh, I want to change the world and all of that, stay there also and learn.
Yeah.
Do you get? After Instacation had failed, I went to work. That's why I met Sheyi.
All of us.
Do you understand? I went to work.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. There I learned the art of, you know, how not to run a business.
Okay.
How to run a business. How not to just spending unnecessarily.
Money.
How to be tight-fisted. You know, how to, you know, delegate and all of those things. And also I learned the art of marketing.
Okay.
You know, because all of these things I didn't know. I just add the idea.
Yeah. I think that for me, my last words would be, don't start. If you think you want to change the world, please, you need the salary. Because just like you, right? When I failed, I went to do 9 to 5 for that 1 year. I needed to just collect salary.
Yeah, I did mine for like 3 years, 2017 to 2020.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm still and I think that what that did for me was, instead of trying to jump at another startup, I became a co-founder. I found somebody who had sold, like, I don't know if it was his first startup, but I know he sold, and then he was trying to build something else, and he came to sell division. Oh, he sold division.
And you also ate it.
Because I used to run that. Like, how did this man he sold division. And what I'm doing currently with him is, I am building what I would have built with Tito help, but I'm building with him. Yeah, he has been able to. But all jokes apart, if you're trying to build, you're trying to change the world, please don't be afraid to fail. I think because I had soft landing, I wasn't afraid to fail.
Yeah, but how you had soft landing? So you might not have soft landing. So my advice is, stay where you are, right, and continue to earn salary while you learn. Because some people also work in organizations and they don't put their 100%.
Yes.
If you don't put 100% when you're working in someone's organizations, really it will reflect on you when you're doing your own. So put your body where you are, learn.
If you're not faithful in
and you can be reading also, studying about startups while you're still in your organization.
Yes.
So don't resign and say, hey, I'm to God.
One of the advice I learned recently, somebody said, if you don't have 1 year's money, 1 year's survival money in the bank, don't resign. It's true. It's true. Make sure you have paid your rent. Very important.
Yeah.
Your rent is sorted for 1 year.
No, if you have a father's house, you can rent your father's house. No problem.
For those of us who will not go back to make sure that your rent is paid for a year and you have enough money to survive. I think that's all from this episode. So we'll see you guys same time, same channel next week.
You just see us on the next episode.
Same time, same channel. Guy, match my energy.
No. Thank you.
Bye. Guys.